ahead and have an opening statement from Coach. Nick, you're on, right?
Excited to play at home this week. Obviously, first home game for our new staff, and we got a bunch of new players that haven't had a chance to play at home games. So we're excited about that and get the community out. And Muncie's been great to us since we got here, and I'm excited to go out and play in front of the home fans. And we got a really good opponent. Coach Santos done a great job there. He played at New Hampshire. They know how to win football games. They're 2-0. They're a national playoff team. He's built a program where those kids are going to come in here expecting to win, so it's going to be a heck of a challenge. I got a quarterback that's a Chicago kid, can throw the ball, is also really good with his feet. I think they got 8 sacks on the year on defense. They blocked multiple kicks. They're a very talented football team, very well coached. It'll be a good challenge for us on Saturday.
Coach, what was the first thing you addressed with the team following that loss when you got home?
First thing we talked about was just the same thing we talk about every Sunday is we went through the teachable moments and showed them, hey, these are 7 or 8 things we got to fix, and then these are 7 or 8 things that we did really well, and we need to build on those positives that took place in the game and fix the negatives. But our routine will be the same every Sunday whether we win or lose. It's at that point it's about getting better for the next week.
After reviewing the film, what were some of the biggest areas of improvement that you saw?
Well, I was happy with the way our defense stopped the run and played up front. That our front 7 got, I don't know how many sacks they had, 5 sacks or something like that. Is that what it was? 5 sacks. They held their own and at times were beating a very talented offensive line. So, that was exciting because that bodes well for going into the rest of the season. And I thought our coverage in the back end was improved from the previous week.
On the flip side, what areas need the biggest improvement going forward?
Offensively, we've had issues the first 2 weeks on first and second down. Everybody makes a big deal about third down, and yeah, it's important, but we got to get more production on first and second down so we're not in the third and long situations that we've been in and letting those guys just turn their pass rush loose on us.
What do you think has been kind of the biggest factor in the struggles on those early downs?
Well, we've had, there's been multiple things. There's been a guy either gets beat on a block, which that's going to happen, or we've had a couple missed assignments, not a ton of them. We've had a couple penalties that have set us back. We've had a guy run a wrong route. We've had a bad throw. You name it, we've probably done it on first and second down. So we got to clean that up this week.
I know you talked about defensively, that improvement. How have you seen Jeff Knowles kind of attack and kind of help this defense improve?
He's done a great job with our guys, and honest to God, our whole defensive staff's done a great job because there's a lot of guys out there that weren't playing football here last year. So in the 8 months that we've been here, and then some of those guys just got here in May. But just developing our guys, teaching our guys the schemes, getting them all on the same page defensively. Our defensive staff's done a really good job with that.
I know you said improvement begins in practice. I'm kind of curious, what things are you going to be maybe changing in practice?
We're going to not change much in practice. We are going to do a little bit more of 1s-on-1s, 2s-on-2s, which is we usually get a little further in the year before we start getting into that. But we need to get good speed on good speed for both sides of the ball. We got to have our defense see receivers, our frontline wide receivers, because New Hampshire's talented at wide receiver. And then we also got to have our defense, or our offense needs to block our defensive line. And we need to block frontline guys on defense. So we'll still have scout work and we'll still continue to work the looks, but we also need to get some more good on good work.
I know you talked about that defensive line against Auburn. How have you seen Nathan Voorhis specifically kind of make an impact on this program?
First of all, he's a great leader. He works his butt off. He's the guy that, I've said this about a couple other guys on our team, but all you want as a coach is somebody that's the same guy every day. That when they walk in the door, I know exactly what I'm going to get. He's going to be the same guy, whether we win or lose. He's going to be the same guy, whether he gets beat or gets a sack, and that's how he is as a player. That's how he is as a person as well, and he's done a good job leading our defense. And he's a physical football player, which is we always like.
As far as the offensive line goes, they seem to struggle in both of the first 2 games. But how do you think going up against the athleticism on the D lines of Purdue and Auburn will kind of just help them going in the rest of the way?
Well, obviously it's challenging, and going against our D line is challenging too. There's a couple things that they need to get better at. There's a couple calls too that I didn't put them in the best position as a play caller, and we're behind the sticks to where they're having to block some pressures that were pretty difficult. The more you are behind the chains, the more creative the other guy on defense can get with his pressures. So some of it is situational, and some of it's stuff we got to improve on.
Good if y'all are.
Good.
That's it.
You guys good with Coach?
I guess so.
Mine.
Well, you guys are easy.
Appreciate it, Coach.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Mike.
Cool. We'll open it for questions. Eric Weatherly.
Eric, I know we talked on Saturday, but what do you think is really holding this offense back from really breaking through and really succeeding?
Me personally, I just feel like we need all 11 guys to do their assignment. Sometimes people make mistakes, and we have inmates, so we just have to clean that up.
What's kind of the primary area of improvement that you would like to see from this offense going forward?
I would just say, like I said before, us all coming together, us all doing our 111, doing our assignments, so it all comes together and clicks.
After going back and looking at the film, how would you say your guys' communication was on Saturday?
For the most part, I would say it was good. We had a couple mistakes here and there, but each week I feel like we're getting better and better, and eventually we're going to break the wall.
Now you talked about each player doing their own 111 stuff. What do you think this offense could look like if each player is able to really get that assignment down?
I would say 40 to 50 points a game. I feel like our run game is strong, our pass game is strong. We got Kyle who can run the ball. I just feel like we would be unstoppable.
Now you talked about Kyle, and you said on Saturday that you work with him extensively post-practice and stuff like that. I guess, what's it been like forming that relationship with him?
It's amazing. I actually played with his cousin at my old school, so before I even thought about coming here, me and him texted, and I just like the way how we bonded, and since being here, we've gotten closer on and off the field.
What's it like having a quarterback that you can put your trust into off the field and especially on the field as well?
It's amazing, trust isn't given, it's earned, and I feel like with me and him having such a good connection, I trust him like he trusts me.
No, obviously it wasn't a great day for the offense as a whole, but you had a pretty solid day yourself. How did it feel to go out there and just get a couple catches against a really tough defense?
I mean, it felt good, but at the end of the day, we're on to the next week, and each week my goal is to get better and ultimately win the game.
What's maybe the biggest lesson that you've learned about either this team or just in general through those first two games?
I feel like we have a lot of people who are willing to compete, and we don't back down from anybody, as you can see from Saturday. Maybe the scoreboard didn't say it, but watching the film, if you really look at the majority of the game, we kept fighting to the end of the game.
You have your first home game on Saturday. Does that kind of change preparation at all for you?
No, not at all.
What's kind of the feeling like going into your first home game at Ball State?
It feels good to kind of have home field advantage, but our mentality this week is to go 1-0. New Hampshire is a very good team, and we're not taking them lightly. So just going in the week with good preparation and getting a win on Saturday.
I was talking about New Hampshire. What have you really seen that stuck out from their offense?
They play really hard. They run the ball heavy. They have good skilled players, even though they're in the FCS level. They go deep in the playoffs every year. So, like I said, they're a very good opponent, and we respect them.
Good.
Thanks,
Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
We talked at Purdue, and you really are stressed about that defensive line executing better, and obviously a great day at Auburn. I guess, what were you really focused on throughout that week that led to that great defensive line showing?
Really just playing our own game. We know we're talented enough up front to compete with any team in the country. So it's pretty much just what we told ourselves. We prepared all week. I think this past week was probably our best week of preparation so far, and it showed on the field.
What do you think is the biggest lesson that you've learned about this team through the first 2 weeks?
How we overcome adversity. We went into Auburn, big crowd, good environment, and some teams go into that type of environment, type of atmosphere, would be scared. But we attacked Auburn. We played our hardest. We executed well. So that really shows that we know we can play with anybody. So that's just what we're going to do.
Yeah, for you guys to go and have the great day you did with 5 sacks against Auburn, really talented offensive line, how much confidence does that give you guys going into the rest of the schedule?
It gives us a lot of confidence. Like I said before, it just shows that we can play with anybody. So we're going to attack the rest of the season. Auburn had a great offensive line. We performed well against them, so we know we can do it week in and week out.
Kind of like I asked Eric, how do you feel that the communication so far between the defense has gone for the first 2 games?
I think we're communicating pretty well. Definitely player to player, get the call in. Maybe if somebody doesn't get it, where everybody is on the same page for the most part. somebody doesn't get it, but somebody else next to them does, it's all going to be communicated before the play.
You obviously made a considerable impact on the field, but it also feels like you're really one of the defensive line leaders and defense as a whole. I guess what kind of charges you to lead?
I think it's just in my nature. Obviously, I want to perform well this year, but more importantly, I want the team to succeed. I want my teammates to succeed. So it really just stems from that. I just want everybody to do well.
And first home game at Ball State here this Saturday. I guess what are you most looking forward to for that?
I'm looking forward to see all the fans come out. Obviously, home field advantage. Gonna probably be a big crowd, so it's gonna be fun.
You guys are easy. 3 thumbs up. All right, cool.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.